Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Invisible Condition. It's not all in your head. I'm your host, Jeff Pearson, and we want everybody with an invisible condition to know beyond the shadow of a doubt, no matter what that condition is, that you do have a voice, you have a community, and you are never, ever alone. Here at Invisible Condition, we get it. We know that life can be tough sometimes. We also know that there is always hope. That's how we roll around here. We roll in the hope. That's it. And I want to talk to you for just a second about a couple things before we bring our amazing guest on for today. Number one, I want to remind you of our nonprofit arm of Invisible Condition. It's called Hydro with Hope Foundation. And that is an organization devoted to helping people with the condition that I was born with, which is called hydrocephalus, which is loosely translated water on the brain. I've had 7 brain surgeries so far to treat it. It's been a ride. I'll just say that. And I know people half my age that have had 10 times the number of surgeries than I've had or more. And it can be kind of crazy. And so Hydro with Hope Foundation is there to help people with boots on the ground, tangible resources. And we have reached a point in our mission where we have more to do than we have funds to do it. And so we are actively seeking board members for our board to help us with that. And we need to expand, and we need to do it quick. So if you know of anybody that would be amazing in that capacity to be able to help accomplish what we are out to do, I would love to talk to you. So if you are one of those people that resonates with that, please send me an email and let me know at invisiblecondition@e360tv.com. Along those lines, if you also, if you are somebody who is a business owner or know somebody who is, or that has a large company, small company, whatever size company, and you align with what we're doing, and you're like, man, Jeff, I love what you're doing, and I love the message of your show. And I want to get my message out about what I'm doing and what our company does to your audience. Let's chat. Let's have a conversation. I'd love to talk to you about advertising. We have a great platform here, and I know that we could help a lot of people together. So email me again at invisiblecondition@e360tv.com. Go from there. Now, I am excited to introduce you to Jennifer Hendricks-Fogg. She is a certified special needs life quality coach. She's a speaker. She's an author. Her book is called Tiny Miracle: A Mother's Journey of Finding Faith Through Childhood Cancer. If I could just talk, that would be awesome. Drawing from her own experience as a special needs mom, navigating her son Logan's battle with cancer, traumatic brain injury, and autism, Jennifer empowers parents to find strength, faith, and purpose through life's toughest moments. I love that. I like the faith part. That's the best part. With over 25 years in sales, including 13 years at Aflac, she blends resilience and innovation in both her coaching and business leadership. So she's awesome, basically. She and her husband also founded the Logan Strong Foundation, supporting families facing childhood issues or illness. So love that. We'll talk about that, I'm sure. Let's welcome Jennifer to the show and get this show on the road. Jennifer, thank you so much for being here. This is awesome.
Hi, Jeff. Thank you. It's good to see you again.
You too. This is so cool. It's amazing how much you can get to know somebody and be so excited to see him again after just a little bit of time when you're in this realm. It's like,
yeah, yeah, you're surrounded by the right people, right?
Right. So before we get started, I have a question that I like to ask everybody that comes on the show. There's no wrong answer. I always love the answer. In the crazy times, in the tough times, in the times that you feel like you're up to your eyeballs in muck in life with the condition that you've got to deal with, how do you still maintain hope?
That's a great question. I thought you were going to ask me something different, and I was going to say I just did it today. I stopped everything I did, and I made some popcorn, and I watched a movie in the middle of the day because sometimes it's great. But how do you make hope? I think it's just in you. Like for me, when we talk about my son and our journey, it's just those things that right? Like it's in your gut. Like you just know it's supposed to be certain way, and the opposite way isn't an option. So maintaining hope, I think, is just really having that positivity and believing that the universe, right, whatever you want to call it, has your back.
Nice. All right. I like it. No wrong answer. Like I said, I love hearing every answer about that question because like I said, we make room for hope around here, man. Because if you don't have hope, you're basically, dead in the water already, right?
Yeah. So true.
Yeah. So all right. So let's kick this off, man. Take us back to that moment when your son Logan was first diagnosed at 3 months old with cancer. And what was that experience like?
Oh my gosh.
I mean, a new mom, like, come on. That's crazy.
First time mom. I was also a geriatric pregnancy. So I was 40. I had him. I love that term.
So ridiculous. Don't get me started.
I know, right? So, so he was born via an emergency C-section because he had fluid on his brain. Interestingly enough, and it ended up being a brain bleed. So I had an emergency C-section. They monitored the brain bleed. 3.5 months later, the brain bleed was gone, and a tumor, a third of the size of his head, was there.
Oh.
So the day he was born, they told me he wasn't going to survive. And then the day he was diagnosed, they said he wasn't going to survive. And I had a few choice words for the doctors that we will not repeat, but you can read about it in my book. But I just knew that I didn't wait until I was 40 to have my first child for God to take him away. So I think that, going back to your first question you asked me, like that was my first initial, like, there's hope, right? So they told me he wasn't going to survive, that he had a deadly brain tumor. And I said, well, that's not an option. Like, let's figure this out. They sent his biopsy to 3 different hospitals. One of the hospitals came back and they were cautiously optimistic. And I was like, let's go with it. Like, I'll take that. Let's go. So after 2 rounds of chemo, the tumor shrunk in half, and they were able to remove 95% of it. So the 5%, the chemo got the rest. So he went through treatment. We lived in the hospital for 6 months. He was a baby. He went through treatment for just about 2 years, and he just turned 8 this past November. And I was trying to get the door shut and get quiet. My husband just took him to horse therapy for tonight. So he does all the things, and he has better hair than me. But yeah, so it's been a journey. They said he would never walk, never talk, never eat. He doesn't walk, he runs. He knows how to communicate his needs. He just learned how to eat this past year. So it's definitely been a journey.
Yeah. No kidding.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh. Yeah. My parents could relate, man. At 2 weeks old was my first brain surgery. So yeah, having that infant go through something like that, it's brutal. It's brutal. I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall during that diagnosis.
I remember his diagnosis day.
Yeah.
Well, not the day, but like the moment the doctor told us, I will never forget the actual day. I have no clue what happened. That was actually the last chapter of my book that I wrote. I think it's chapter 4 was diagnosis day. And I literally had to crowdsource that chapter because I only your body's in such shock.
Yeah.
I only remembered bits and pieces. So I had to have people help me fill in the gaps. It's crazy. Wow. Yeah.
That's insane.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. Well, I want to throw this out to the audience real quick, because if you are watching on any of these platforms and you hear something that Jennifer says during the show today, and you're like, oh, I got to talk to her, or oh, I have a question, or man, I can relate, or you want to, you want to throw some encouragement her way, a question or whatever. Facebook, YouTube, super easy to do it. As everybody knows, like anybody that's not been living under a rock for the last 20 years, comment on Facebook or YouTube and we'll get back to you, and she can get back with you. And then also, this will lead you right to her website. Tell everybody what they're going to find when they go there to your website.
Yeah, so this is my coaching and speaking website. There's also a drop-down menu for free resources, but it also has a link to my Logan Strong Foundation, which is the nonprofit we'll talk about, as well as Logan Strong, which is the blog that I shared from, day one of my son's journey.
Nice.
So lots of info.
That's all right there. So beautiful. All right. So there you go, guys. No excuse. If you have questions, we just gave you all kinds of places to reach out. So please do. All right. So I know you said you barely remember the day. Totally get it. What were some of the, I know there's unexpected stuff that happens during those days too. Like, what was some of the most unexpected emotional or logistical things that you faced during all that?
So the irony of our journey, and you mentioned it in my bio, I work for Aflac. So I sell cancer insurance for a living. I had the cancer plan on my son when he was diagnosed.
Wow.
Aflac also sponsors their own children's cancer center in Atlanta, Georgia at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. So when the doctors told me they sent Logan's biopsy to New York City, Boston, and Atlanta, I never put two and two together. I've only been, I'm a benefits consultant, so I'm an independent agent. So I'd only been with Aflac for 4 or 5 years at the time. And I never put two and two together. And one of my coworkers reached out to me and she's like, hey, fill this out. I'm going to get you connected with Atlanta. And I was like, oh my gosh. And that's actually the treatment plan that they decided to go with. In addition, I remember clear as day, my son was in the PICU and his oncologist said to me, oh, I'm waiting for Dr. So-and-so to get back to me. And I was like, you mean her? She just happened to call me around that time. And it was just, I'm a firm believer in everything happens for a reason. Our journey sucks wholeheartedly, but my son chose me to be his mom for a reason. The whole Aflac connection. I always joke and say my son chose me to be his mom because I have a big mouth and I can get him through it. And I did. But I mean, seriously, because you have to have hope, right? And I heard you mention earlier as well, you love the faith part of it. Mm-hmm. Well, my middle name is Faith. Nice. So I pulled strength from that also. So you just know, right? It sucks, but you just know XYZ is not an option.
Right. I mean, what are you going to do? Give up? That's ridiculous. You know, that's that's a bad idea for everybody. So
exactly.
Obviously. Yeah. So of course, speaking of, families, I mean, many parents of special needs children. Yeah. I mean, there's so many people in these situations. So many people. I mean, Aflac has a whole division for it, right? But it can be so isolating, right? You feel by yourself a lot of times.
Yes. Yeah.
So how did that go? Did you find community? How would you do that?
So it's crazy because the first couple of months it was both my husband and I, and then he had to go back to work. So it was really just me. And, people are always suggesting, why don't you join a support group or why don't you go do this? And I was like, I really don't want to join a support group so I can sit around and cry with other families that have their children going through cancer also. And then I'm going to feel bad for them. And they're going to feel bad for me. And then, nobody's going to, whatever. Yeah. So I just I did my own thing. I journaled a lot. I blogged a lot, which is actually was very helpful when I wrote my book. So I
Yeah,
blogged a lot. I shared my son's journey on social media. So we had, a very strong following there. And then from there, I really pulled the strength from people that were following our journey, right? Like I converted to Catholic during our journey because I believed in the power of prayer and community. Like I'd already been going to church with my husband's grandmother. Like I kind of just did me. And then I remember one day I reached out to the social worker, and I don't remember what it was about, but it was something like very minuscule. Like I reached out to her and I said, why is this bothering me? Like something stupid, like you didn't put staples in the stapler. I don't know. Right. And she's like, it's because you have control over that. Like you have control whether or not you put staples in a stapler versus you don't have control over your child getting diagnosed with cancer.
Right.
And I was like, oh my gosh, that was like a light bulb moment for me. And it was like, because I was like, why am I getting mad at stupid things? Like I have bigger things to worry about. That's why, because those are the controllable things. And it's funny, like to this day, when my son gets a cold or the flu, I'm like, I half jokingly say like, give me cancer any day, because at least cancer has a treatment plan. And I know like, okay, you're going to get chemo these days. You're going to, not feel good this day, but you'll be better this day. But like with normal child stuff, I'm like, I don't know. So like I half joke about it because I'm like, for me, cancer was easier than, normal child illnesses.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, yeah, it's more prevalent. It's more prevalent than or maybe it's just more in public, like
but it's also what I know, right? That's all I know.
And that's true. Yeah.
Brand new mom, first time mom, and this is all I know. Yeah. I'll never know what it feels like, to feed my kid for the first time. I'll never know what it feels like to have my child hit those normal milestones, right? I'll never have those things. And I've adapted, and I'm surprised, like I'm not even crying saying that, because it's my journey. And I am very proud of our journey, and I love sharing our story because he really is my miracle. And I also half joke and say, like, how do parents do it with normal kids? Like they talk back. Like my son doesn't say a lot of words, so but he's amazing, and I'm super blessed, and I'm proud.
That's so cool, as you should be, as you absolutely should be. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, we are at a really good place for a break, so we're going to do that. I'm going to take this down. Don't worry, the QR code's coming back. Don't worry, everybody. There it goes. All right, there you go. Now. We're going to come back after a short break, and we're going to be talking more, obviously, about what's going on in the story and everything. And we're going to share kind of some tips about maybe we should I'm thinking we share some tips for other parents out there that are going through this, because that's your jam. So we're going to do that on the other side of this break. So everybody stick around. Don't go anywhere, and we will see you in a couple of minutes. I'd love to talk to you a little bit about our sponsor, Junamos Marriages. And now struggling marriages often lead to a dramatic sense of disconnection from your spouse that can seem suffocating. Even if your marriage is doing pretty well, there is a way for you to thrive no matter what. Junamos Marriages believes that God designed marriage to be a lifelong, heart-connected journey. And they're here to help you get there at Junamos Marriages. Located in Colorado Springs, Colorado, their faith-based marriage intensive has an 83% success rate. I'm going to say that again. 83% success rate. Guiding couples through deep emotional healing and lasting transformation. Why is that important? Because most marriage counseling has a less than 10% success rate, leaving broken hearts and marriages in its wake. Led by Dr. Pauline Dillard, who brings over 42 years of marital wisdom, these marriage intensives are different. typical marriage counseling is more of a once a week for an hour type of thing that can last for years and really end up getting you nowhere. The intensive model that Dr. Pauline uses brings couples together. Each session lasts about 2 to 3 hours and is conducted over 5 to 6 sessions. The time that you invest in a marriage intensive will combine biblical truth with proven psychological principles to restore communication, trust, and intimacy. At Dunamis Marriages, they don't just treat symptoms, they equip you with the tools to build a thriving, Christ-centered marriage. If you're ready to break free from frustration and rekindle your relationship God's way, act now. Visit DunamisMarriages.com today. That's DUNAMAS marriages.com. And take that first step toward a stronger, more fulfilling marriage. Build your marriage on a solid foundation and enjoy your spouse like you never thought possible.
Hey, how you doing? My name is Greg Russell. I'm the host of TechnologyTuesday.com. You can find us on the Conscious Business TV network every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the latest resources to help you make more money in your business. Join us on E360 TV. Come on.
All right. Welcome back, everybody. Jennifer, thank you so much for being here. If you didn't catch the first segment, I encourage you to go back and watch because it's some good story that's going to bring you up to now. And what I'd love to ask you about now is what we kind of hinted at the beginning, at the end of the last segment, which is, okay, yeah, there's parents that are going through this. I mean, this is a crazy thing.
Yeah.
For a little baby to go through, and the parents and the family and all the things. So what do you do for, self-care and taking care of yourself, taking care of your family in the midst of all this?
It's my jam. I love it. So yeah. So I mentioned the whole Aflac connection, Atlanta. So last year we moved to Atlanta. So we live in upstate New York. So we moved to Atlanta last year for 3 months for my son to go through an intense feeding therapy program. He never learned how to eat. He now eats 100% by mouth. I share that because this is where my journey as a special needs life quality coach really started. I work for Aflac full time. I run the Logan Strong Foundation nonprofit that helps other local cancer families and families with children with serious illnesses and disabilities. But when we were in Atlanta, I really had time to just focus on my son. And in doing so, it made me realize that there's a lot of other caregivers out there like myself. And I have a very successful career with Aflac. I run a very successful foundation. And it's like, if I can do it, how can I help others do it? So I went through a program and I became certified. So I am like a self-care junkie, and I'm all because if you're not, it's the old adage, right? When you're in an airplane, like you put your oxygen mask on first. And I know it sounds so cliche, but it works. So up until recently, I mentioned I just got knee surgery. I'm looking at my crutches, but I have a very strict morning routine. I would get up at 4 a.m. I journal, I meditate. I know I'm crazy. I journal, I meditate, I'm at the gym at 5, and then I'm back home by 6 before my husband and my son get up. So I make sure to carve out that time. Now that I'm healing, I still get up at like 4:30, 5 o'clock. I'll journal, I'll read, maybe I'll I kind of try to walk on the treadmill right now, not really. But, I still make that time for myself, whether it's, I get massages regularly. I'll get my hair done. I need to get my nails done. But like, even self-care doesn't even have to be all that, right? Like self-care could literally be like, close your door, shut the lights off, and breathe for 5 minutes.
Right.
It could be like I don't know if you've heard of box breathing, where you inhale for 4, you hold for 4, and you exhale for 4. Like that calms your nervous system and helps regulate you. It could be something as actually I had a girlfriend text me earlier today. She's very overwhelmed. And I was like, all right, take 5 minutes and just do a brain dump, right? Just write down everything that's in your head, everything you have to do. Like that's self-care. I mentioned earlier in the show, like I've been home for a week after my surgery. I'm like in a funk. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take time this afternoon. I'm going to make some popcorn. I'm going to throw a movie on and I'm just going to chill. That's self-care. Yep. Like you just have to know, when you need it. And even if you don't know when you need it, like make it part of your routine. Make it part of your routine, because if you don't, your body will tell you and 1, force you. 1,000%. 1,000%. Yep. I had an experience like that years ago. My wife was so sweet and so compassionate with me having as many surgeries as, it's just a thing. And I would push myself no matter what. And I'd be like, ugh. And I one time for a long time, I would get mad at myself for falling asleep in the middle of the day. Like I would pass out on the couch and I'd lay down to check my email or something on my phone. And before you know it, the phone's on the floor and I'm out for like an hour. And I wake up and I go, crap, what and I'd be so mad at myself for falling asleep. And my wife had to like literally kind of take me and shake me and be like, look, it's okay. If that's what your body needed, that's what your body needed. Just take it. Just stop being mad, And so it's a thing, and you got to get good at listening to your body to tell you that kind of stuff. I had, so talking about earlier, like what I do for myself, I also, obviously I have a therapist. I see my therapist, I don't know, once every couple of months, sometimes more if I need to, but I recently had a conversation with him and I was like, I feel like I always need to be doing something. I go, I can't just, sit on the couch for an hour and, twiddle my thumbs. Yeah. And he goes, but you are though. He goes, you're resting. That's doing something. You're replenishing your energy. He's like, that's doing something. And I was like, oh my gosh. So just that brain shift of thinking of it that way was very helpful for me. Yeah. Because I do all the self-care stuff, right? But then when I sit down, I'm like, I should be doing something. Then I'm like, oh wait, I am doing something. I'm listening to my body. I'm slowing down for a minute. I'm replenishing my energy, and then I'll get back to whatever it is that I need to do. You're sitting on the couch eating popcorn and watching a movie. That's a conscious decision. You're doing that, right? So nice. That's a beautiful thing, by the way. I'm a movie junkie myself. That's one of my favorite things to do. Popcorn and like whenever I'm overwhelmed, like popcorn and a movie in the middle of the day is like my thing. Totally. Yes. Especially in the middle of the day. It's even better in the middle of the day. Yeah. It totally is. Like a snowstorm outside or like a thunderstorm, like that's even better. Then you know what you do then? You put a pot of milk on the stove and make hot chocolate. Don't do it with water. Water that's like thumbing your nose at the hot chocolate. If you're going to make the effort to get good hot chocolate, put it in whole milk, for crying out loud. Yeah. Don't do the 1% crap. Don't do the water. Just boil some whole milk. And don't forget the marshmallows. And that's right. Do the marshmallows, Yeah, that's right. So, all right. Well, all of that is self-care. Yes. And don't be afraid of it and don't be ashamed of it and just roll with it, man. Yep. And you had some really simple stuff there too. Like a lot of people think that it's got to be this big production of thing that you have to like plan and like make a big deal of. Nah. How much effort does it take to sit on the couch and fall asleep? That's true story. So true story. Yep. Yeah. And I do want to comment too, like, I always tell people like being a cancer mom is like the best club to be a part of, right? Like it's like the camaraderie that I have with these other cancer moms are amazing. But it's like, I always tell people like, we all have something in our lives that has shifted us, that was unexpected, whatever. And I think we just need to be understandable and mindful of other people in that regard. And I'm always like, just be kind. Like, you don't know what someone's going through. Like, you have no idea. And I don't know. I always say we all have our ish. I'll say it that way.
Right.
I'll be PC. But yeah, like we all have something.
Yeah.
And it's okay.
Exactly. I think about the example I keep bringing this up, but it's such a vivid example. I was at the supermarket, and this last 10, 12 years if it's not taught me anything, it's taught me compassion. Before that, I remember seeing somebody pull up at the supermarket and park in the handicap spot. They had the plates, whatever, and they pulled into that spot. And this guy jumped out of the car kind of quick. And I was like, huh. And he walked into the store kind of quick and brisk, and and came out with his bags like 20 minutes later, and no big deal. And just put them in the car and got in and drove away. And I was like, that's a head scratcher. What the heck's going? What? He didn't look handicapped. He didn't look like he needed that. But I'm thinking, so now when I see that happen, because it happens a lot, it happens all the time. So now I think to myself, okay, I wonder if he had to take a nap and take an extra dose of his pain med just to get the strength to get to the store for that 20 minutes for his one activity outside the house for the day, probably.
Right.
And then get back in the car, drive home. And then he probably hit the door, put the groceries away, and passed out again because that was it. His spoon, he used all his spoons for that day, And so, yeah, it's a perspective thing,
100%.
So, yeah. So you have become a certified, I don't even know where this certification comes from. There's only
one place that you can get it right now. It's based out of California. So I had to do it. I'm in New York. So it was interesting, but it's a certified special needs life quality coach. And I mean, I joke and I say, like, I paid a lot of money to get a certification to do what I'm already doing. I mean, I'm already a special needs parent. Like, I'm already navigating, but my goal, I always tell people, like, you can have it all. You just can't always have it all at once. Right.
Nice. Yeah.
So like I said, I have a very successful career. I run a foundation. I have an amazing marriage. I have friends, family. I take care of my son. I do my girls' nights. I do my date nights. Like, my son has, 3-4 different therapies outside of school. Yeah. So I handle it, but it's who I am. And like right now, like I'm in my healing season, right? Like I'm healing after knee surgery. So I'm adjusting. Like, it's important to know like what season you're in also, and give yourself grace to go through whatever it is you're going through. Yes. And before I forget, you did ask what my tips are, and I want to tell them before I forget them. Yes. So my 3 biggest tips to anybody, really, any type of caregiver, whether it's a child, an adult, or just a person in general, my 3 biggest tips. 1, always take a shower and get ready in the morning. You never know when your day is going to go sideways. Like, for real. Like, I work from home most of the time. If my son gets hurt at school and I got to bring him to the hospital, I don't want to show up there in my pajamas. Right? So that's my number 1 tip. Number 2 is don't Google. Do not Google a diagnosis.
Don't go to WebMD.
No. Don't do it. Because what you're going to find is all the worst case scenarios.
Yes.
I Googled my son's diagnosis once and I'll never do it again. It was a case study from like 1984. And the kid, didn't survive. And I was like, well, that was like, how long ago now? Like, don't even do it. And then the third thing that I always tell people when they're going through any sort of medical, always bring somebody with you or have a notebook. Because there's information overload. Like, I still remember to this day, like, they took half of my son's brain. And I remember 6 months later, I said to the doctor, and he showed me his scan, and I go, where's his brain? He's like, Jen, He's like, we resected it with the tumor. We talked to, I was like, don't remember. But my body was protecting me. My mind was protecting me from hearing that news until I was ready to accept it. And my husband's looking at me like, Jen, we knew this. And I was like, so always bring a second person, or at least have a notebook when you go to appointments, because you're going to miss something. They may say a word. You can Google like a word you don't know, but don't Google diagnosis.
No. Yeah, that's a terrible idea.
and here's the thing too. Like I tell people all the time, like they told me my son was never going to survive. He was diagnosed with a congenital glioblastoma. On paper, my son should not be here, right? Doctors have to tell you the worst case scenario.
They do.
That's their job.
Yes.
Like they have to tell you the worst case scenario. My son's doctor to this day tells me every time she sees me, your son is here today because of you.
Yep.
Remember that time I told you your son would never walk? What the hell was I thinking? The thing she says to me.
Yeah.
It's true, because going back to what you said in the beginning of the show, hope and faith, right? Like you have to have that. Oh, and the other thing, and this is more for moms, but it could work for dads too. Always trust your mom gut.
Yes.
Always trust your mom gut. 1000%.
Yeah.
All right, there's my
It's true. No, it's true. Man, I mean, I love so much of what you said there. Like we literally published a journal, a fill in the blank journal for people going through the condition I was born with, because of what you just said, because you go through and we even put a little spot on the spine so that you can number the surgery, because people with this condition have multiple surgeries over their lifetime typically. And so there's a little spot like number 1, number 2, number 6, number 12, how many you've had. Yeah. And so you know which one to bring to the next follow-up. And because you're never going to remember everything, and you're never going to write it all down and bring somebody with you. That's important. My wife actually will, if she was here, she would tell this story and she'd probably tell it better. But the first surgery, I've had 6 surgeries, 4 brain surgeries and 2 others in the last 12 years. The first of those 12 is the first one she ever experienced with me being married. We had been married 14 years at that point, and she had never seen me go through surgery. And she called people. She's like, I don't know what to do. There was only one person that said, where are you? I'm on my way. What hospital are you in? I'm on my way. And she just sat there and listened and just sat there with her. She didn't try to tell her anything. She didn't try so yes, always have somebody, and it's better to pick that person ahead of time instead of doing it in the moment, you know? So yeah, that's huge.
That. That's so important. Like, and that's another thing, like people ask me too, like, you know, when somebody gets sick or something happens, they're like, oh, let me know what I can do for you. I don't know. Like,
that's what are we? Yeah. Like, how are we supposed to know that?
Right. So like, I always tell people, flip it around. Don't ask them what they need or what they want help with. Say, hey, I'm coming over. I'm doing your laundry. Hey, open your door at 7:00. Your groceries are going to be delivered. Hey, I'm going to watch the kids Friday night so you and your husband can go out. Don't be like, hey, what do you need? Make a suggestion, because our plates are already full going through what we're going through. I can't make another decision. Like, decision fatigue is real, especially when you're going through a crisis.
Yeah, it's 100% true. And after this, we're going to go to a break again real quick. But after this, there is something that I want to tell you about that that relates to that you will be excited about. The person that created it is just a genius for this. So we'll touch on that in just a minute. Stick around, everybody. It's pretty good. You might want to find one after I tell you about it. So stick around. We'll be right back.
Hey everybody, Craig Tomanini here, founder and CEO of Ask Craig T, and I wanted to do a quick reminder about our podcast every Friday, 9:00 Mountain Standard Time. You can find us on YouTube and on all of our social media platforms, so be sure you tune in. Don't miss all the valuable information we're going to give you about how to scale your business using technology.
Hey there. You know, every time someone comes into your business or website and uses their card to pay, a percentage of that gets folded back into the system. But it can go to Hydro with Hope instead. If you'd like your business to support us rather than feed back into the system, scan the QR code and we'll show you how to do that while saving your business money.
Hi, I'm Jake, co-founder and CEO of One Hope. My friends and I started this company in 2007 out of the back of this truck on a mission to enrich people's lives through wine. Today, we've grown into a state-of-the-art Napa Valley winery that proudly houses a portfolio of award-winning wines which have touched lives through over 40,000 nonprofits at home and around the globe. And it's happening every day. Being rooted in local communities and contributing to initiatives that uplift neighborhoods, celebrate cultures, and promote community. It's what got us here. You see, through every bottle sold, your purchase can make a direct impact on the causes you care about. One Hope's cause of choice has given back over $10 million and counting.
Hey everyone, Coach Greg here from Living Empowered TV, where we help women live empowered lives through amazing guests, life hacks, mental, physical, and emotional health. See us on the Achieve Network, 12 o'clock Wednesdays Pacific time on E360 TV. Don't miss out.
Hey, everybody, before I bring Jennifer back for the last segment of the show, I want to talk to you about Invisible Condition University, or ICU for short. Now, ICU empowers you to face whatever invisible condition you or a loved one may be facing by providing a community that listens, that cares, that walks with you no matter what you're going through. Now, you'll be part of a community that meets twice a month to ask questions. You know, you can have a safe place for you and your loved ones to ask questions, to get support, or just find some hope, in the camaraderie of everybody that's there. This is something that I wish we would have had about 10 years ago when I started undergoing all these brain surgeries that I've had since 2014. So helpful. But we didn't, so we created it. Here it is. Invisible Condition University is only $17 a month. And as my gift to you, I'm going to give you the first month for free. Try us out, see what you think, bring your friends, bring your caregiver, bring your mom, bring your sister, whoever's helping you with your care, and check us out. I'd love to see you there. That's invisibleconditionuniversity.com, or scan the QR code. It'll bring you right to the landing page, show you everything you'll get for that $17 a month. Our next time that we'll be together will be on June 3rd. So join us then, and look forward to seeing you. Here we go. I'm going to take that down. And oops, that's not what I meant to do. That's what I meant to do. Welcome to live TV, everybody. I'm just pushing buttons all over the place here. All right, here we go. All right, we're back. Thank you for being here, Jennifer. And by the way, one more time, I want to throw this out there. If anybody's listening, if you've been here for the show, you probably have questions. You probably want to say hello. You probably want to be like, hey, I gotta shout out for Jennifer. Facebook and YouTube, man, comment away. We love to hear from you.
Yes.
And here is another place to reach out right here. What are they gonna find there again, Jennifer?
So the JenniferHendricks-Fogg.com is my coaching and speaking website, but there's also there's free resources, but there's also links to LoganStrongFoundation.org, which is the nonprofit that supports families going through childhood cancer and other serious illnesses, as well as LoganStrong.org, which is our blog of our personal journey with our son. Nice. Love that. And just go learn, man. Just learn. And this is so cool of everything that you're doing and everything you've done. And it's just cool. Go check it out, everybody. Now, before the break, I was talking about, you were talking about, I think the discussion was about, what do people do when somebody's in crisis, when people you're going for surgery, you're going for just, what do you do?
the Dunamis marriages that was in the first segment there, back in the day, my wife and I actually worked with them directly as childbirth educators, and we worked with them that for like 8 years. We were natural childbirth educators, and our daughter was actually born at home on purpose because of that, and it was awesome. It was amazing. The midwife didn't even make it. I got to catch. It was beautiful. It was fantastic. And one of the resources that they had was called, I can't even remember what they called it, but it was a thick book like this, and it had everything. But the mom, like during the pregnancy, would fill out everything in this book, when it wasn't chaotic after the baby's born. That's like, here's where we keep the laundry soap. Here's how we put away our dishes. Here's how we like to fold the towels. Here's and all the things, so that when somebody comes over, and like you alluded to, I'm on my way. I'm coming to do the dishes. I'm coming to pick up the kids. I'm doing that. How to do it. And mom doesn't stress out and go, you know what? Let me just do it. You're doing it wrong, And so it was a really cool resource to be able to help them do it right, so mom doesn't get more stressed out. So it was, but that's a beautiful thing when you come in and actually have that intentionality to actually do stuff, and not just, oh, let me know if there's something I can do, Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Why would we? Yeah. Don't ask me that kind of question in this state. That's crazy.
Yep.
So what would you say to a mom who's just got the news? Like, put yourself back in those shoes and like, if somebody's standing in front of you and goes, "Oh my God, Jen, I just got the news."
That's a really good question. I typically, so like now I don't really work or like to chat with people that just get recently diagnosed, because they're so overwhelmed. Like I remember, like I told you, I don't remember my son's diagnosis day. Like,
yeah,
the doctor said, and then it's all a blur. I think really going back to what I said before, it's really just trust your mom gut. Make sure that, you're listening, or if you don't understand, have other people with you, and definitely make sure that they're taking care of themselves like that. That's huge. That self-care piece is going to get you through, because it's such a catch-22, right? Because you're thinking, oh my gosh, my child is diagnosed with X, whatever it may be. Right.
Right.
I don't want to miss this, or I don't want to do that. But it's like, if you're not taking care of yourself, how are you going to be strong and take care of your child? Like, that's how I felt. And like for us, our son didn't know any different. Like, he was diagnosed at 3 months old. So if I cried, if I broke down, if I quit or gave up, then he would have done the same.
Yep.
So I made sure that my child, even at 3.5 months old, never saw me cry, never saw me upset. I'd always pray with him. I would always give him pep talks. I would just sit on the chair next to his crib, and I would just hold his head, hold his hand, and just say, "Hey, you got this. You're strong. Tell that cancer to go away." Like, you have to just stay positive. I lost a close friend during the time my son was diagnosed, because we're good now, but she showed up and she had just had a baby at the same time, and she's bawling her eyes out to me about my son. And I was like, get out of here.
Right.
I appreciate your feelings about my child. Like, I'm not going to take that away from you, but I don't want to be around that. And neither does my son. So it's okay to distance yourself from those people that don't fit with what you're going through.
Yeah.
Because if they're really meant to be in your life, they'll come back, like this person did. And we're good now. We worked through it. But it's okay. Like, your number one priority is getting through whatever it is that you're going through.
Yeah. It's survival instinct is called survival instinct for a reason. Sometimes you just got to survive. So,
Yep.
Well, Well, I'll tell you what, we got about 2, maybe 3 minutes left. So if you were to have a message for the last couple minutes of the show for the audience, what would you tell them?
A few things. So the first thing, I forgot to mention this earlier. So I created a program about resilience. And when we think about resilience, there's 3 steps to it: survive, recover, and thrive. So survival, right? You're just making it through. Recovery, which is, relating to my knee right now, like I'm in that season of recovering. Thriving is, you're being successful, you're healed, whatever it may be. And I think it's important to recognize where you are, and you don't have to be in the same spot in all aspects of your life.
Mm-mm.
Right? So that's the first thing. And then the second thing I always tell people, it's not what happens to you, it's what you do with it that matters.
Nice.
And
Yep.
and going through what you've gone through doesn't define you, it creates you.
Love that.
Thanks.
That is so cool. Yeah, because it doesn't define you. It's not, I've never said I always say I was born with this condition. I'd
Yep.
never say I have this, or,
Yes.
I was
Yes.
born with it. So, so
100%.
yeah, it's
Yep.
fantastic. Oh my gosh, Jennifer, thank you so much for being here, man. This is so,
Yeah.
it went so fast, and I wish we had another hour, but we don't. So, but thank you so much for being here and for telling the story and just being so real. And I appreciate it.
Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. So cool. I learn something new every single show. I'm telling you guys, this is so cool. Now, all right, everybody, you know the drill. If you've been watching for a while, just thank you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being with us in those early days when it, and now, and it's been such a cool journey that we've been through over the last couple of years, and I feel like we're just getting started. So thank you for being here with us. And, just if you're watching on any of these platforms, like, subscribe, share. If this is your favorite episode or a previous episode, your favorite, share it. It's probably somebody else's. They just don't know it yet. So share it out. And, as far as, here's something fun. If you're watching and you go, what's that thing he's drinking out of here? I'm going to show you. It's, we have these, and you could have one too if you want. So if you're interested, go ahead and grab it right there. So and if you're watching this, and especially after watching such an amazing story, if you're like, man, I want to get the word out about what I'm doing through this show, please email me, invisiblecondition@e360tv. If you want to talk about the stuff with the nonprofit with Hydro with Hope, I'd love to talk to you about that. So just reach out. I'd love to have a conversation. And please join us for our next show, which will be on Tuesday, May 27th. That is going to be the next show on the air. So I look forward to seeing you on Tuesday, May 27th. And, until then, have an amazing day, and we'll see you next time.